Hello, good morning everyone. Today I'm going to teach you about one of the important topic of grammar, that is active and passive voice. Let's begin. So first, active and passive voice. When you hear this, we have two types of sentences here. One is active sentence and passive sentence. What is active sentence and what is passive sentence? If you want to understand that, you should have the knowledge of a sentence. What is the basic structure of a sentence? Means already we learned that subject, verb, object. That means in Kannada, ಕರ್ತೃ ಕರ್ಮ ಕ್ರಿಯಾ. ಕನ್ನಡದ ವಾಕ್ಯಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಗೆ ಕರ್ತೃ ಕರ್ಮ ಕ್ರಿಯಾ ಅಂತ ಬಂದರೆ, ಅದೇ ಆಂಗ್ಲ ಭಾಷೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ವಾಕ್ಯಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಗೇನು ಬರುತ್ತಂದರೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಕರ್ತೃ, ಆನಂತರ ಕ್ರಿಯೆ, ಆನಂತರ ಕರ್ಮ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. So like that, we need to understand the basic sentence structure. That is SVO is the format that we see in English. That is which we can see in the active sentence. So let's take a look. What is active voice? That means we need to understand what is active sentences. The active sentences means we should understand very importantly what is the main important point in the active sentences is, in active voice, the subject performs the action. So you have to focus here. Who is performing that action? The subject. The subject performs the action. The subject means, again there is a doubt. So subject means already you know that in a sentence, who is performing action? That means in Kannada, ಕರ್ತೃ. ಅಂದರೆ ವಾಕ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರು ಕ್ರಿಯೆಯನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ನಾವು ಕರ್ತೃ, ಅಥವಾ ಆ ವಾಕ್ಯ ಯಾರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ರಚನೆ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ನಾವು ಕರ್ತೃ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಹಿಯರ್ ದ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಅ ಸೆಂಟೆನ್ಸ್ who is performing the action, a noun which is performing action in a sentence, that will be always in the beginning of the sentence, that is called subject. In active voices or in active sentences, the subject performs the action. ಅಂದರೆ ಆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದು ವಾಕ್ಯಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕರ್ತೃ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಕ್ರಿಯೆಯನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಒನ್ಸ್ ಅಗೇನ್ ಇನ್ ಅದರ್ ವೇ. The subject is doing the action in the sentence. So we need to understand here, the subject is doing the action. So who is doing action? The subject is doing the action. Here also subject performs the action. The same thing, subject is doing the action in the sentence, same thing. What does it focus on? It focuses on what subject does, or what subject is doing. What subject does. ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಥವಾ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಇದು ತುಂಬ ಫೋಕಸನ್ನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾವುದು? ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟಿವ್ ವಾಯ್ಸ್. ವಿ ನೀಡ್ ಟು ನೋ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್. ಸೊ ವಿ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟೂಡ್ ದಟ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಸೆಂಟೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮಿಂಗ್. ದಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ the subject performs the action, subject is doing the action and focuses on the subject, what does it do or is doing. If you want to understand about the subject, I told you that we need to know about what is subject. Subject is a noun that is doing action in the sentence. ವಾಕ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರು ಕ್ರಿಯೆಯನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅದು ನಾವು ಕರ್ತೃ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಉದಾಹರಣೆ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋದಾದರೆ, ನಿತಿನ್ ರೈಟ್ಸ್ ಅ ಲೆಟರ್. ಅಂದರೆ ನಿತಿನ್ ಒಂದು ಪತ್ರವನ್ನು ಬರೆಯುತ್ತಾನೆ. ಈ ವಾಕ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? ನಿತಿನ್ ರೈಟ್ಸ್ ಅ ಲೆಟರ್. ಹೂ ಈಸ್ ರೈಟಿಂಗ್ ಲೆಟರ್? ನಿತಿನ್. ಸೊ ನಿತಿನ್ becomes the subject. Writes, already we know that is a verb. And what is it doing upon? That is object. A letter is writing letter. So like this is a basic sentence structure. SVO. This is a simplified form to understand the subject, verb, object. Instead of that, we can say like SVO format. So S means subject, V means verb, after object. This is the basic sentence structure. So we have understood active voice focuses on the what subject is doing or what subject does, and it shows the what subject performing that action. So it contains three aspects very importantly, that is subject and then verb and then object. So just keep in mind this point. Subject, verb, object will be there in the active sentences. Subject always comes in the beginning and object comes at the ending in active voices. Then we need to know what is passive voice. This is very important. There is no matter to convert anything with the active voice. We have to do that active voice, we need to change them into passive voice. So this is very important. So passive voice is, what is passive voice? Why do we use this? So passive voice, object of the active sentence means active voice becomes the subject. So which we treated in the active sentence, that is object, that object comes into the place of subject in passive voice. So you have to understand this. What is it? Nitin writes a letter. Already told you that subject is in the beginning, after verb, after a letter. So here, which is the object? A letter. A letter is the object. A letter is the object here. This object place comes to the place of subject in passive voice. I mean, in simply way, if you want to say that, here in the active voice, this is a sentence example of active voice, subject, verb, object. That means SVO format in active voice. But whereas if you convert into passive, it inverse of that means SVO again changes to OVS format. So how means just Nitin ಒಂದು ಪತ್ರವನ್ನು ಬರೆಯುತ್ತಾನೆ. ಇದು active sentence. If you convert them into passive, what does it become? A letter is written by Nitin. A letter, see, letter is an object in active voice. That object we have taken into the place of subject again. That's why we said active voice in the form of SVO format. So we need to change them into OVS format. So a letter. Here we have some changes. We can notify that we have some changes in a verb. Here writes, again here we changed it into is written. So there is confusion. Why we have changed this verb into the other form? So I'll teach you some other way. I will teach you in the next PPT. Why do we change? How does it change? What are the rules we need to understand? First we need to focus on SVO changes into OVS. This you have to focus. SVO in the active voice, but OVS in the passive voice. First we need to convert that object into subject for the passive voice. First we need to understand. So then if you understand that here ನಿತಿನ್ ಒಂದು ಪತ್ರವನ್ನು ಬರೆಯುತ್ತಾನೆ, ಒಂದು ಪತ್ರವು ನಿತಿನ್ನಿಂದ ಬರೆಯಲ್ಪಡುತ್ತದೆ. That means here we focus, and the active voice focuses on the subject, what he is doing, but here focuses on the object, what happened. So that we need to understand. Let's move on. In passive, subject of the sentence receives the action. This is very important. You need to understand. In passive voice, subject of the sentence. See, here object, the letter is the object in active, but that object we have taken to the place of subject. So this subject is receives the action. See, a letter is receiving action upon it. It's not going to do that action. See, a letter is not going to perform an action here in the passive voice sentence, but whereas in the active, Nitin writes a letter, the Nitin is performing action, he is doing that action. So that is a difference. Who is doing that action? That is subject is doing action here, but here subject receives the action upon it. Next. So you understood about the what is active and passive voice. SVO format will be the example of active, and OVS is an example of passive. Let's know the rules of changing active to passive. What is it? rules. First, you must have the knowledge of tenses. Yes, this is very important. If you don't know the tenses and the types, it's very difficult to change that active voice into passive. So dear students, already I taught you about the tenses. Like tenses means present tense. We again divide into four types: simple present, present continuous, present perfect continuous, and same as like it's gonna divide into past tense and then the future tense. I taught you already. That one you have to keep in mind. You must have the knowledge of tenses first before changing active voice into passive. Next is identify the subject and object of the sentence. You should have the knowledge of identifying which is subject, which is verb, and which is object in active sentence. If I give an example in a sentence, you should have to identify the subject, which is a subject, which is a verb, and which is a object. If you know that, it is very easy. First important is you should have the knowledge of tenses and you must identify the subject, verb, and object. Change object into subject. All I told you that OVS format, it becomes to OVS form. SVO becomes into OVS. Object, verb, subject. That object place which is in the active, that we have to convert into subject place. That's it. Next is use suitable auxiliary before verb. So this is very important. Any verb which comes in the active voice, that main verb we need to change into the form of V3. I mean past participle form. Past participle form andre enu already nimge gottide. The conversion of the verb that goes into 6 type. In that, the third one, V1, V2, V3 column, or V plus EN, or past participle form, you need to understand, or you need to use that. Always use past participle, verb form 3, you need to use in the place of main verb. So which is past participle means, I give an example here. So teach comes into the part of present, past taught, and past participle taught. Earn, earned, earned. So which is in the past participle form. That form you need to use always in passive voice. Just glance once again the rules of changing active to passive is: first you must have the knowledge of tenses, second one identification of subject, verb, object, and third one change them into the OVS format. After use suitable auxiliaries before a verb means suitable auxiliaries means according to the subject you need to use a particular auxiliaries. Example, as I taught in the tenses, as per what is the subject comes, for the relevant subject you need to use some certain auxiliaries like a be from am or is, all these things. Like you need to know that according to the subject which auxiliary you want to use it. Always use PP means past participle form of verb. Any verb which is given in the active voice, you need to convert that into the V3 form. If it is there like a play, you need to use played. If it's there like a take, you need to convert into taken. If it's there like swim, you have to convert that into swim. Swim, swam, swum. You need to use like this. We understood the rules of changing active to passive. Let's take one more example. So here, first we need to go through the tenses wise. For changing that active sentences into passive, we need to go through the tenses wise. First tense I have taken here present tense. In present tense we have 4 types, that is, but only 3 we can convert into passive voice. That is simple present, present continuous, and present perfect. So these 3 tenses we can change into passive. Today I am going to discuss with you about simple present tense. Only simple present tense sentences, how to change them into passive. Each day I am going to upload you some of the videos related to this. Today I am doing the video of simple present, and tomorrow I'll do about the present continuous, like this. So in simple present, what is the rules? You need to understand the structure of changing active into passive. See, I told you about you have to use the suitable auxiliaries. See, suitable auxiliaries means here we need to use a be form. What is B form? B form already you know that there are 5 auxiliaries comes under B forms. That is am, or, is, was, were. Was, were used for past tense. That's why I have not mentioned here. And just I'm doing the present tense. In that present tense, simple present. That's why I mentioned here as am, is, or with V3. V3 means past participle form. This is a structure you need to understand. See, Raju speaks Kannada. SVO. This is active voice. Raju speaks Kannada. Raju Kannadavannu ಮಾತನಾಡುತ್ತಾನೆ. Raju is performing action, so it's active voice. When you convert that, above sentence has subject verb object. That means SVO format, so it is active. Change into means OVS, like object verb subject. What is object here? Object is Kannada. So when you take that Kannada into the part of subject, for Kannada, which is the auxiliary, suitable auxiliary, you need to understand. Am, is, are. Which suitable for Kannada? Which is suitable for Kannada means is. Because Kannada is like a third person singular, we need to use like is. So Kannada is. So we converted that object into subject place. We have taken the suitable auxiliary like is. After that, we need to use V3 form. Here speaks, so that comes to the, when you convert that into the V3 form, it comes like spoken. That's why Kannada is spoken. So by is a condition, you can use it for who has done that. For example, Raju has done, so we can use by after the subject who has done that. You can use it like Kannada is spoken by Raju. Kannadavu ರಾಜುವಿನಿಂದ ಮಾತನಾಡಲ್ಪಡುತ್ತದೆ. ಹಾಗೆ active voice, one more example. Kamala plays tennis. So here Kamala is a subject, plays is verb, and tennis is object. You need to change that to OVS. OVS means tennis comes to the place of subject. That means tennis. For tennis, which is the suitable auxiliary? Is suitable. So tennis is. Here plays. Here we can see only plays. So plays comes to the form of V3 form. It becomes like play, played, played. Tennis is played by. So by is optional. You can use that by, or you can just leave it like tennis is played. That's it. Tennis ಆಡಲ್ಪಡುತ್ತದೆ. ಯಾರಿಂದ ಆಡಲ್ಪಡುತ್ತೆ. Sometimes if you don't know who is doing that action, if you don't know the subject who is performing, on the time you can skip that by. If it is mentioned that who is doing that action, you can mention like that using by. So that answer is tennis is played by Kannada. That means Kamala. That is SVO changes into OVS. If subject is a pronoun, see in the previous one I have given example with the subject is a noun. Kannada, Kamala, Nitin, all these things. If it is a pronoun, change them into object case. I taught you about the cases of pronoun like subject, object, possessive and reflexive. In that you need to change that pronoun into the case of object form. I becomes me, we becomes us, you becomes you, he becomes him, she becomes her, it, they, them. Active voice example, SVO format. We visit Sira. So here we subject, visit verb, Sira object. So change that object into subject. Shira, we have taken Shira. For Shira, which is the B form suitable for that? The B form is suitable for Shira is suitable. So Shira is. Visit is a verb, the main verb. Change them into the V3 form. Visit, visited, visited. Shira is visited by. Here we have the subject, that is we. So we have we. That we don't want to write as it is. We need to change them into the object form. That is we becomes us. So Shira is visited by us. One more example. They build hospitals. See, Shira means it's a singular, that's why we have taken the auxiliary here is. But here we have hospitals. Hospitals, is it singular or plural? We need to understand. Hospitals means it's a plural. Which is the plural auxiliary by the be form? From be form, which is a plural auxiliary? That is are. That's why we have taken hospitals or built. V3 form it becomes like built. So hospitals are built by they, it becomes them. That's why hospitals are built by them. You bring gifts. You bring gifts. You is a subject, bring or verb, gifts object. Gifts, see, it's a noun, plural noun. So plural, which is a suitable auxiliary, is, am, are. Which one comes? Already we know that for the plural we have to use are. Gifts are bring. V3 form of the bring is bring, brought. That's why gifts are brought by you. It becomes like you. Same. See, you becomes you. That's why gifts are brought by you. It's just I'm giving all example with a simple present. One more example. Manjunath protects his mother. See, if there is some confusion for you to understand which is object and subject, see, where there is a verb, after the main verb, which is there, that is object. Before the verb, what is there? That is subject. So we understood that here, which is the object here now? Is mother. That's why take it as in the place of subject, is mother. His mother. His mother is singular, so we have to take the auxiliary from the be form is. His mother is protects. It comes to the V3 form is protected. So his mother is protected by, who is the noun? Manjunath. So we have to mention as it is Manjunath. His mother is protected by Manjunath. Manjunath protects his mother. So here in the passive, his mother is protected by Manjunath. So this is the difference. Cat chases rats. Cat is singular here, chases verb, and rats plural. That rats now take into the subject place, so it is plural. We have to use auxiliary are because the noun is in the plural form. Rats or chase. Chase, it becomes in the V3 form is chased. So rats are chased by what? Here singular as given in the activus, we have to use same as it is cat. We don't want to change into plural again. As it is, we have to place. Next one. My mother takes Kavya's necklace. Here something you will get a difficulty to find the subject object. Already I told you how to find it. You have to understand where it is the main verb. The main verb is takes. So takes, before what's there, that is subject. My mother is subject. After the main verb, what is there? That is object. Kavya's necklace is object. Now you have to change that object into subject place. That means Kavya's necklace comes to the place of subject. This is subject now in the passive voice. For Kavya's necklace is a singular, so we have to use the auxiliary is. Kavya's necklace is. Here the verb, we have main verb takes. Take, it comes into the V3 form, that is V1, V2, V3. What is the take? Took, taken. So it comes like taken. Kavya's necklace is taken. By what? Here what is the subject? My mother. So Kavya's necklace is taken by my mother. Like that we have to use. Next, one more example. Monkeys climb trees. Monkey is also plural here and trees also plural here. To find subject and object, this is a main verb. That means main verb is climb. Before that, monkeys is subject, trees is object. Change that object into subject place. That means trees. Trees means this is plural form, so you have to use are. Trees are climbed. Trees are climbed by monkeys. That's easy. I turn off TV. So here I is subject, turn off is verb, TV is object. So change that. TV. For TV, what is the be form? We have to use is. TV is. Here turn off becomes in the V3 form turned off. TV is turned off. By I becomes me. Already I told you that if there is a pronoun, we need to use in the object case. I told you that I becomes me and we becomes us, like that. TV is turned off by me. So like that we have to use. So now I hope you all understood about the concept of active voice and passive voice. Now these are the questions I have given for you to change them into passive voice. I take your mobile. I take, see, subject, I take, main verb. So once you find out the main verb take, before that is a subject, after that is an object. So just it's very simple. Your mobile becomes in active voice, your mobile becomes object. So change them into subject. That means your mobile. Mobile is means singular, so we have to use is. Your mobile is. Take, what is the V3 form for take? Taken. Your mobile is taken by, I becomes me. Your mobile is taken by me is the answer. So like that you need to convert. We send the message. They accept all cards. Kusuma cleans the room. I invite them. He learns computer typing. Manya's brother sings beautiful songs. Suma washes utensils. Corona steals our lives. Doctor treats patients. So these are all the questions I have given to you. You have to convert them and you have to find out the answers. I will come up with one more video with these answers and I will teach you next step, that is today I have taught you about simple present, how to convert them into active to passive, and tomorrow I am going to discuss with you about that means present continuous sentences, how to change them into passive voice. Okay, all the best, convert them. Thank you.